of all, I want to say thank you, everyone, for being here. This is not how I wanted the world to meet my son, but here we are. So, as you know, I'm Christine Wells-Wansley. I am Nolan Wells' mom. And Nolan is the kindest soul. He never met a stranger. He loved everybody. He didn't care if you were black, white, purple, green, looked like a marshmallow. Like, he just wanted everyone to be in peace with one another. He loved life, and God gave him this big heart, which always scared us. Me and his dad had conversations with him all the time, not just about the importance of understanding our history as black people, but also the importance of how you have to move in certain spaces. And it's not us being, feeding into racism or the stereotypes that comes with that. Unfortunately, that is just a matter of fact. There have been many cases, many instances that shows it's unfortunately a pattern that he did not like. He did not like that there was so much division, and I think that's why God gave him us. He was really a peacemaker. He wanted, like I said, everyone to be included. He never wanted to leave anyone out. He just, even at a young age, I don't know, he was, how old was he?
18?
No, not 18. When he was a baby, he did the little dance. So his father and I were having a moment, and as couples do, and even in that moment, he runs in the room with his diaper on, of course, and he starts dancing. Because it was like he could feel the tension. He could feel that something wasn't right. So he was just a special kid. Like, he was a special kid, but again, just heart was so big. And we're gonna miss him dearly. But we are grateful, especially to our friend Tashima, who actually was one of the people who helped us that night. She went and picked up his cell phone from where it was, and then provided that to us, because we of course contacted authorities to figure out who to do the report with, whether it was the county or the city, which then turned into DMR, who I contacted immediately from there. But...
Can you tell them how you got the cell phone?
So our friend actually, when I called her, Nolan is best friends with her two sons, Jalen and Javon. When I called her, I said, Tashima, have you seen Nolan? He's missing. No one has seen him. No one has talked to him. The boys were actually with her sons, so they opened up their Snapchat, because a lot of the kids do have their locations where they're tracking one another. So one of the boys says, well, it's showing that, I can't exactly remember what his location was showing, but my Life 360 location was showing something completely different. It was actually showing that his phone was like he was on land. And so we ended up, she received the phone from that parent, and then we met up where his car was, which was at a separate location. There were issues obtaining the key.
Aware of Ben Crumple and many of the cases that we represent in this country. Some of these cases you don't know anything about until we get involved, and we shed some light. We explain to the media what has happened, and you all let America know what has happened. Sometimes cases come and you all already know about it. This is one of those cases. I saw this in the news before I got a call from Ben. This was already huge in social media, already out in general media. Why? Why? Because it doesn't take an attorney. It doesn't take a special investigator. It doesn't take someone with extreme training to know right off there's something wrong here. This is, as Ben has put it, not adding up. It is so obvious. There are so many people in this country that go missing, right? Everybody knows this. But this case has captured everybody's attention. Think about why. You know that something is not right. It doesn't take us. It doesn't take the Reverend Al Sharpton, Ben Crump, to tell you and then think, oh, now I know something's wrong. We know something is wrong. And for every single person that was in Horn Island, and we know there's about 200 people, there's a lot of people. We know that Horn Island is a popular place during the holidays. It's a popular place on the weekends. You have to get there by boat. It's the only way to get there. You have to leave by boat. It's the only way to leave. So many people out there. If you are watching this, if you see this, and you are struggling about what to say or what to do, you know what the right thing to do is. Call Ben Crump Law. There's this thing called the internet. It's very easy to find that number. Call us. We have an entire call center. They're waiting to hear from you. If you didn't go to Horn Island, but you heard something, because people are talking. They're talking with each other. They may not be calling the police. They may not be calling us. But you heard something. We need to know that. We need to know that. In America today, so many of us, we want to believe that the last several decades we've made so much progress in our race relations, don't we? We want to believe that. Whether you're black or you're white or you're Asian, that's what we want to believe. We wanted to believe that this past 4th of July when we celebrated 250 years, right? If you want to believe that, you've got to be part of the solution. You've got to be part of that. You have to make it happen. And if you have information, please call us. It is incredibly important. People out there, you have answers. You may not know exactly what your information means.
The investigation around Nolan Wells' mysterious death continues to heat up, and this time the FBI is now stepping in to look into what happened. As you can recall, Wells was enjoying a remote island off the coast of Mississippi for the 4th of July, when he would be reported missing close to 11 p.m. Now, suspicions would grow because the friends he traveled to the island with, known as Horn Island, would allege that Nolan decided to stay back to talk to a girl. That would be one of the first indications for Nolan's father, Elmore, that something was off.
I preach that same thing to my kids. If you go somewhere with someone, you come back with them, no matter what. Don't let a girl separate you from your safety net. It's plenty of girls. So for them to come back and that'd be the first thing that come out their mouth, like when they said that, they automatically just turned it turned me off, but it turned on a question like, I know he wouldn't do that.
Not only did it seem unusual that Nolan would leave his group, but the fact that he didn't keep his phone with him if he voluntarily stayed has been the biggest red flag for many. Nolan's body would later be found washed ashore 2 days later after a search and rescue mission was conducted. Now, at the center of his passing lies a racial aspect that many can't ignore. given that Nolan was the only black teen amongst white teens on his boat, and that the incident would take place in Mississippi. According to stats platform Statista, Mississippi is known for having the most lynchings in any state in America, with 93% of those lynchings being black people. It is because of Mississippi's history, and for some present day, that local officials handling the case can't be fully trusted. Now on Tuesday, a new update from the sheriff over the Jackson County Sheriff's Department, Sheriff Ledbetter, would speak with reporters to share an update. According to Ledbetter, he and his team are not going to be pressured to rush their investigation, but will reveal that the FBI and other agencies have now stepped in.
We put out a call to action last week for that information, and it has been very productive for us.
Ledbetter did confirm that interviews have been conducted with witnesses, and the department has been in contact with other departments and agencies, including the FBI.
Rumors are out there, but we don't respond to rumors, we respond to facts.
From research, it is said that majority of Horn Island is federally owned, which could be a reason as why the FBI is now getting involved, as the agency specializes in crimes occurring on federal property like military bases or national parks, or can even get involved at the request of local officials. And for some, their involvement now appears to mean foul play has not been completely ruled out. Now, despite Ledbetter assuring that his team is doing a thorough investigation as to what happened to Wells, it appears that Wells' family is still not trusting their local authorities fully, especially after recently admitting in an interview with the Griot on Monday that the sheriff's department has not made contact with them since last Tuesday, in which their attorney, Benjamin Crump, would comment was a little odd.
So I'm going to be honest, we have not heard from our local authorities since last Tuesday. We received a phone call, basically really no updates, and that was it. We've heard from no one else.
Now, another issue that some have had with the local authorities' steps in the case was Ledbetter first sharing that he did not suspect any foul play. The announcing of this before an autopsy was even complete troubled many following the case, adding to their fears that a cover-up may be in the works. Now, other concerns for many is that the autopsy done by local officials have yet to still be released. According to local outlet WLOX, results from it are expected to come within several weeks, with a toxicology report being done by outside laboratories. And because of this, that timeline makes many uncomfortable as they realize how crucial every moment is. Now, it is also noted by the local coroner's office and from a second-hand report by a member of the Cajun Navy who helped with Nolan's search, his body did not appear to have any signs of physical injury. There were no immediate signs of physical injury, Jackson County Coroner Bruce Lind told CNN. Now, it's been 10 days since Nolan's tragedy would first take place, and questions still remain to what happened and were his friends involved. As reported here on Monday, discrepancies have emerged between accounts given by the friends who
Three major developments have just collided in the investigation of Nolan Wells.
who traveled to the island with Nolan about when they last saw him. The friends say they last saw Wells at 3 p.m., but that looks to conflict with two other accounts. Other witnesses have documented that Wells was still alive and with others as late as 4 p.m. And in an alleged screenshot by one of the young men's mother, initially told someone in a Facebook DM that the group last saw Nolan around 5 p.m. when they were trying to get him to board the boat so they could leave. Now, looking at all this, these inconsistencies have led some to speculate that the friends' 3 p.m. timeline is meant to place their last contact with Wells before the point at which others can independently confirm he was still alive. If their claim of leaving the island at 4:30 p.m. is accurate, it would mean the group spent up to an hour on the island after last seeing Wells when he would let them know that he wanted to stay. So does it seem believable that Wells would determine he wanted to stay when they last saw him at 3 p.m. and they would leave at 4:30 p.m. without ever contacting him again? Or does it make more sense that the last time they saw him and when they left happened at once, as first expressed by one of the teens' moms, that Wells stalled their departure because he was talking to a girl, which for some who believe in a version of a drowning theory, in which at some point Wells would drown swimming far out trying to catch up to the boat. In this theory, the drowning could have happened towards the boat or when he realized he needed to head back to shore, and that his friends would continue taking off, not fully knowing if Wells got back to the island.
Life jacket on, Marquise. I'll just wait. Bro, you have a life jacket.
Bro, I'm black. It doesn't matter. It's not gonna say.
Oh, yes, it does.
Bro, I'll just find a way. Hey. Yeah, they think I'm about to go back, but I can't swim.
Bro, you have a life jacket.
I'm gonna die.
I'm standing right
Hold
now.
on.
So I can just like hold on to the back.
Handle right here if you want.
Yeah, I might drown.
You won't drown.
I'm gonna try to get over there.
You're not gonna drown. I promise you won't drown.
There you go.
Thank you.
What's your name?
Hey.
What's your
Oh,
name?
my name is Marquise. But everybody calls me LeVar because I go to like Denellen.
Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was okay getting over here. And they think I'm about to swim back. I can't even swim.
Doing a good job right now.
Probably not holding this. And it's my first time here.
It's your first
First time? Well, welcome.
Yeah.
How'd you get over here?
Yeah, what
They made me
happened?
take that way over there, and they had 2 life jackets on.
I'm glad we ran into you.
Oh, you fucking pussy.
I'm never coming back with y'all.
Yo, we told you if you were coming, we had a life jacket.
A life
makes you
jacket.
float.
Saved it for a big kid. This for a little kid.
That's scary though if you're not used to water.
Yeah.
I just swim in my pool in my backyard.
Yeah. Spring water's different.
It's a lot different, you know.
We're almost there. Ooh, the wind. I know, it's really strong. And there's a current. You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm never coming back with y'all.
I don't know what to say.
These are the answers that people want to know. And now with others looking into all the facts, what happened to Nolan Wells will hopefully be revealed. Let's talk about it more in the comments below. Reporting live from Hypers Club, Fight Plus News, I'm John Abba.
Tomorrow brings a 4th moment this family has been dreading for over 2 weeks. But tonight, a new pattern is emerging from the darkness, and it points to a reality far more dangerous than anyone first assumed. Please subscribe now to avoid missing more update about this case. For weeks, the public wondered exactly why the FBI had quietly entered a local investigation. Some suspected a massive cover-up, while others believed the case had been escalated to something far worse than an accident. Now, the Bureau's Jackson field office has finally put its role in writing. The official statement is careful and measured. It confirms a trusting, effective partnership with the Jackson County Sheriff's Office. It states the FBI has been supporting local authorities from day one to find answers for the Wells family. But buried deep within that official text is a single phrase that changes everything. The FBI's efforts are specifically focused on interstate threats received by individuals connected to this matter. This means federal involvement isn't actually about Nolan's death itself. It is about protecting people in this story from dangers that have crossed state lines. But who is targeting these witnesses? The FBI remains silent on the identity of the sender. Yet, independent reports suggest these graphic threats were sent directly to the family of one of the boys who was on the boat with Nolan that night. This introduces a chilling contradiction. If Nolan's death was a tragic accident, as early narratives suggested, why are federal agents hunting down anonymous actors across state lines? Someone is desperate to keep the people on that boat quiet. Just as the federal timeline became clear, the young woman at the center of the case's biggest unresolved contradiction broke her silence. She didn't use a lawyer, a relative, or a second-hand post. She went face-to-face with Nolan's own mother. To understand the weight of that meeting, we have to look at what happened on the water. The initial police reports painted a picture of a late-night boating mishap, a group of friends, a sudden turn, and a young man vanishing into the dark water. But local investigators missed a critical piece of evidence left behind on the dock. A discarded life jacket, stained with something that didn't belong on a routine boat ride. When forensic hobbyists enhanced early photos of the scene, they noticed the straps had been intentionally cut. Why would someone destroy a life jacket before going out on deep water? The local authorities brushed it off as old equipment. But then came the digital footprints. Cell phone tower pings placed the boat 2 miles away from where the teenagers claimed they were idling. This minor clue forced a second look at the initial statements. The timelines didn't match. The boys claimed they lost Nolan at midnight, but a local homeowner's security camera captured audio of a distant, frantic argument, echoing over the water at 11:15 p.m. The gap of 45 minutes was never explained. It was during this exact window that the young woman made 3 rapid, unanswered phone calls to an unlisted number. When asked by police, she claimed her phone was in her bag the entire night. That lie unraveled when data recovery experts pulled the metadata from her device. Not only was the phone active, but a draft text message was saved at 11:42 p.m. It contained just 4 words: "He knows about it." The question shifted from what happened to Nolan to what Nolan had discovered before he stepped onto that boat. Friends described him as uneasy in the days leading up to the trip. He had recently started working a summer job at the local marina, handling private charters for wealthy clients. Among those clients was the father of one of the boys on the boat, a prominent local businessman with deep ties to regional politics. Suddenly, the local police department's hesitation to press the teenagers for answers began to look less like incompetence and more like a strategy. The tension in the community reached a boiling point. The Wells family demanded the boat be impounded for a full forensic sweep. When the authorization finally came through, investigators found the vessel had already been thoroughly detailed and scrubbed with industrial bleach. But the cleaners missed the underside of the stern. Technicians discovered deep structural impact marks on the hull that didn't match a collision with logs or rocks. The fiberglass was cracked inward, indicating a heavy, concentrated force applied from the outside. It looked as though the boat had deliberately rammed something, or someone. This brings us to the devastating midpoint twist that upends everything we thought we knew about that night. For weeks, the investigation operated under the assumption that Nolan was a passenger on that boat when he met his end. He wasn't. An encrypted backup of Nolan's personal cloud drive was successfully unlocked by a private cybersecurity firm hired by his family. The files revealed that Nolan never actually boarded the boat at the main dock with the others. Instead, Nolan had spent the evening tracking that specific vessel from the shore using a high-powered digital camera. He had discovered a highly organized illicit smuggling ring operating out of the marina during off-hours, utilizing the private boats of local elites to transport untraceable cargo. The teenagers on the boat weren't out for a joyride. They were executing a drop. Nolan had documented the entire exchange on video, capturing faces, registration numbers, and the exact coordinates of the illicit drop point in the middle of the lake. The final video file cuts off abruptly. The audio captures the distinct sound of a powerful engine accelerating rapidly toward the shoreline where Nolan was filming. He wasn't lost at sea after a tragic fall. He was hunted down because he had documented a multi-million-dollar criminal enterprise. This changes the entire nature of the FBI's involvement. The interstate threats aren't just angry internet trolls. They are targeted warnings from a sophisticated criminal network desperate to suppress the digital evidence Nolan left behind before his phone was destroyed. When the young woman sat down with Nolan's mother, she confessed to the terrifying reality. She admitted she was forced to make those initial false statements because her family's safety had been threatened by the very people running the operation. She confirmed that the boys on the boat received a call that night, ordering them to clean the area and stay silent. But she claims she doesn't know who commands the network from the top. The entity pulling the strings remains completely hidden in the shadows. Tomorrow, Nolan Wells will finally be laid to rest. His family will sit in the front pews, carrying the heavy burden of a truth that is still too dangerous to speak aloud in full. The FBI continues to monitor the interstate communications, waiting for the coordinators of the ring to make a definitive logistical mistake. The local sheriff's office remains the lead agency on paper, but the atmosphere in Jackson County is now thick with paranoia. The digital files have been turned over to federal prosecutors, but the core question remains unanswered. With so much wealth and institutional influence protecting the people who ordered the hunt that night, will an official arrest ever actually be made? Given the scale of the corruption uncovered in Nolan's digital files, do you believe local authorities were actively protecting the smuggling ring, or were they simply too terrified of the consequences to investigate the truth? Share your theories in the comments below. The water retains its secrets, the threats continue to cross state lines, and the ultimate architect of this tragedy remains at large, watching from a distance as a family prepares a grave. To stay informed as new federal documents are unsealed, and this investigation moves toward a grand jury, subscribe and turn on notifications for the next critical update.